Good morning. Today is Monday, April 27th. Today is the 18th day of the Omer. I hope everybody had a great Shabbos, a relaxing Shabbos. There was this strange yellow light in the sky. I'm not sure what that was, but we certainly enjoyed it. And then, of course, Sunday and today, not as nice. 18, of course, thinking of those who are keeping score. 18, we have to go with the great Peyton Manning. And then, of course, we think of Nationwide commercials. Nationwide is on your side. And then we think, of course, the greatest shul announcements that ever took place back when we used to go to shul, given by the one and only Brandon Shaw when he said, Mincha is at 6:15. Which then brings me, of course, to wishing Brandon's mother, Mindy, a very happy birthday. Celebrated her birthday over Shabbos, and we should continue to share good news. Let's also continue to pray for Refuah Shalema, for Ivan Sobel, Mordechai ben Elka. Please daven and say extra Tehillim. Also for Rafal Zev ben Rickel, and also for Rivka Basliba, and all those who need healing at this time. While the news in the world seems to be getting better, we still have a long way to go, it seems. So let's stick with the program, as it were. Tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, respectively. And later on, we'll send out different links for various types of programming, which you can join virtually, given that we can't have this regular communal celebration. So we could find meaningful ways to connect online, and we could even link up with programs in Israel as they're taking place. Even the people in Israel have to do it online, and they have to do so virtually. So let's keep our watch out for that. And tomorrow morning we'll have the regular women's shir at 10:30, which we'll cover topics relating to Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. This week we are studying the second chapter of Pirkei Avos, the Perek Bet of Pirkei Avos. Today I'm borrowing from the text I'm a little partial to. Yes, from my Rebbe, Rabbi Wein, and I take the fifth Mishnah of the second chapter, Perek Bey's Mishnah Hay. And again, we're introduced to Hillel, and I sort of promised you the flip side of this last week, and here we have it in this Mishnah Hay. Hillel Omer, Al tifrosh min hatzibur, ve'al ta'amin ba'atzmecha ad yom mosecha. One should not separate from the community. Don't believe in yourself until the day you die. Ve'al tadin es chaverecha ad shetagia lemakamo. Don't judge your fellow until you have reached his place. Ve'al tomar davar she'efshar lishma shesof hishama. Don't say something that's impossible to be heard, for in the end it will be heard. Ve'al tomar lekeshe'efne eshne shema lo sipone. Don't say that when I'm free I will study, because perhaps you will not be free. A lot to say here. There's a lot in this Mishnah. Normally we would do a shir on this Mishnah. Could take anywhere between 30 and 60 minutes, but we're just going to give you sort of a brief, we call the tabletop version, the signs that you would put on your desktop, which are quite obvious. So first, and I want to apply it to our times as well, al tifrosh min hatzibur. We believe very strongly in the notion of tzibur, of congregation, of following the masses. It doesn't mean that there's no room for individuality. It just means that, let's say, when there's a certain practice in the synagogue, if there is a minyan in the synagogue, we don't make a breakaway minyan. We don't make a separate minyan. That's tifrosh min hatzibur. We don't stray from the policies of what everyone is doing. And certainly nowadays, that's exactly what we're practicing, is that when the entire community, I'm not just talking about the Jewish community, but the entire community is in the same situation where we have to stay away, where we have to stay inside, where we can't do what we normally do. So don't think that, oh, I'm special, that I'm different, al tifrosh min hatzibur, that the rules don't apply to me. Sometimes people have that attitude that the rules don't apply to me. But Judaism tells us, and the Mishnah tells us, al tifrosh min hatzibur. And further, someone who, possesses this quality of thinking that the rules don't apply, we say, al ta'amin la'atzmecha ad yom mosecha. Don't believe in yourself. Don't think so much of yourself until the day you die. In other words, don't think that you're able to overcome every obstacle or every pitfall that's in front of you just because you think you're so strong. That's not the case. Rabbi Wein quotes, I'll read you when he talks about giving into temptation. We are all subject to sinful temptations, lapses of judgment, foolish behavior, and grievous errors. Hillel teaches us to believe in ourselves, but only with balance and caution. Utter and complete reliance on one's wisdom and rectitude gives birth to the curse of bad leadership and irresponsible personal and national behavior. And this is the line I love. Someone once said, it's what you learn after you know it all that counts. So, al ta'amin ba'atzmecha ad yom mosecha. Don't necessarily think you got it all covered. Next, al tadines chavercha ad shetagil makamo. So this is the flip side of what we saw last week. We say dan lekav schus, but also a person should not judge someone. We say basically until you've walked a mile in their shoes, or until you've stepped in their shoes, whatever the phrase might be. But this is the Jewish version of it, or maybe that's where they got it from, other people and other sayings. But don't judge until you know exactly what the person is going through. I'll tell you a story. This is my my story that I've told. I probably told it many times, and this is when God sort of humbled me. So when I was about 20 years old, about 5 years ago. So I was 20 years old, and 1920, and I was in yeshiva. And for the summer, we went down to do an enrichment program in Jacksonville, Florida. So on the way down, we drove straight, but on the way down, we stopped for Shabbos at our friends in Norfolk, Virginia. One of our chavirim from the yeshiva was the rabbi there, and we had a few other guys that were living there. So we spent Shabbos in Norfolk, Virginia. Now, you have to understand something, that at 19 years old, I knew everything. Nobody knows more Torah or more anything, and I'm going to be the greatest you-know-what since sliced bread. So I'm going to take on the world, so I know everything. So I go into the shul, and it's an out-of-town shul, a very out-of-town shul in Norfolk, Virginia. Meaning that people are nice and they say hello, and people in the street stop and they talk to you, and which is, as a New Yorker, it's very hard to get used to that. But be that as it may, so I go and I come to shul, and you all know me that I come to shul on time. That's just my thing. And the rabbi walks into shul at 10 o'clock. And of course, you're since I'm going to be a rabbi, I'm thinking like, oh, this chump, what's he doing? 10 o'clock? What kind of joke is this place? Okay. Then I'm standing in shul, and there's a guy in front of me, and he's sitting, and it comes time for Shemona Esrei, and he sits down for Shemona Esrei. The silent meeting, he's sitting down, and he's just reading a book, sitting down. I go, what kind of nonsense is this? Do you call this place religious? Sitting down for Shemona Esrei, the rabbi walks in at 10 o'clock. So then God said, okay, you're so smart. Let's see how smart you are. So it turns out that the rabbi actually comes to shul at 8 o'clock, because for 2 hours he runs a beginner service from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. And the fellow that was sitting in front of me, who later we became great friends, he actually has this very serious heart condition in which he's unable to stand up for any period of time. As a matter of fact, they lived in Virginia Beach, and they bought a Shabbos house just to be close to the shul, so he could be wheeled or walk to shul very slowly and not have to violate Shabbos. And he asked the rabbi, what should he do? The rabbi said, better you should daven with everyone else and sit down than put your life at risk. So God said, you think you know everything. You think you're so smart. It was quite a lesson in humility, something I will never forget. So al tadines chavercha ad shetagil makomo. Don't judge someone until you actually know what's going on in their lives. You don't really know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't really know what a person is dealing with. You don't know what a person is struggling with. But it's very easy to make a snap judgment. So maybe we should think twice, 3 times, 4 times before doing so. Al tomer davar she'efshar lishma shesof alihi shama. Don't say something that's impossible to be heard. From the end it will be heard. I think maybe in the Zoom generation we pretty much are well aware of this, is that there are no secrets, and I'm sure we have countless of Zoom fails where you hear things in the background that you don't think you should be hearing, or people say things or weird things, whatever it might be. But you know what? Nothing is ever secret, and especially in today's internet age, when you put something out on the internet, it's there forever and ever and ever. And that's a lesson that we try to stress with our kids and our teens. They think that, nobody's ever going to see it. Oh, it disappears after 3 seconds. There's no such thing. If it's out there forever and ever. It has an eternal memory, just like Hashem has an eternal memory. And finally, and don't say, oh, I'll study when I have time. Because you know what? Maybe you won't have the time. It brings me back to what I've been saying all this time. If there's one positive that we could take out of this whole craziness, is that we have a little bit more time than we would like or realize, or whatever it might be. Take this opportunity to capitalize on all those promises you've made to yourself. I'm going to study this. I'm going to take on that. I'm going to learn how to read Hebrew. I'm going to daven. I'm going to do Mishnah. I'm going to do Gemara. I'm going to do Daf Yomi. Whatever it might be. But do something, because who knows when we'll ever have this type of time again. In a weird sense, this is a gift from God. And God is saying, okay, let's see how you use this time. Because it's not going to last forever. But if we take it on now and we start now, then we'll understand that, oh, you know what, I really did have the time. Someone once went to Rabbi Yisrael Salanter and asked him, he said, Rebbe, if I only have 10 minutes a day to learn Torah, what should I learn? Should I learn Gemara? Should I learn Chumash? Should I learn Mishnah? Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, who was the father of the Musar movement, said, you should learn Musar. This is for you, Zev Shirl. He said you should learn Musar. Zev is always talking to me about Musar. He loves Musar, and I appreciate that. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanter said to him, you should learn Musar. He said, Musar? Why Musar? He said, because if you learn Musar for 10 minutes a day, you'll realize that you have more than 10 minutes a day to learn. Right now, we have all kinds of time. So don't say, oh, when I have time, I'll do it, because you'll never have time like we have right now. So, my friends, let's make the most of this. Like I have no other word than craziness. Let's hope that we come out of this soon. Let's hope that we'll be able to find some meaning for Yom HaZikaron and celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut. And I hope that everyone has a great day and a fantastic week ahead.